wrap up, we're going to talk about 3 areas. First will be safety. So if there's anything that speaks to the safety of the home, we'll cover that first. Second will be priority. So that's anything that you as a potential home buyer would want to know before actually going through with the purchase. And the third is kind of the general knowledge area. When we do a home inspection, we cover 94 different areas. So don't be alarmed if the report comes to you and it's like 60, 70 pages long. Doesn't mean it's all bad, just a lot of information. So we took a picture of the house when we got here. We got our table of contents. In the safety section, so there is an open knockout observed in the electrical service panel. You can see right there at the very back that someone had punched out that knockout and it just needs to be put back into place. State doesn't want to see any spot where somebody can stick their finger through or anything like that and get electrocuted. And then the safety pressure reverse system on the double car garage door is not operating correctly. So what that means is as the door is coming down, we run over and try to stop it, and with reasonable force, it should reverse and go back up without crushing a car or a child or a pet or anything like that. And it's not doing that. So that's just a simple adjustment at the motor that can be done. And it's only on the double car garage door. The single car garage door is working fine. And then the TPR valve appears terminating correctly. So TPR is temperature pressure release for your hot water heater. And again, in the state of Arizona, they want it within 6 inches of the ground. And that second one, not this first one, but the second one is your TPR valve. And you can see it's about 11 inches off the ground. So they just need to get it down within 6 inches of the ground. And then this is a little bit of a gray area. So TPR discharge tube is unacceptable due to material or diameter. And what that is the state requires me to call it out because it's got this flex tube right here. And they want it to be solid copper like right here. But the problem is, and this is why it's the gray area, if you had a plumber fix it today, they'd go to Home Depot, Lowe's, or Ace, and they would buy that same exact pipe. So the pipe is still being sold. Nobody's regulating it or anything like that. So there's nothing you have to do, but by state requirements, I have to tell you that it's flex tube and it should be replaced, but there's nothing you have to do. Then these are called firewall breaches. So what this is in the garage, and you want your garage completely sealed off from anything in the living area. So you can see where there's a gap right here between the Freon line. So somebody did some work because you can see the black residue. There used to be something covering that hole so no carbon monoxide could get in there. And then also right at the top of the air conditioning, see where that silver tape is? That should go up to the roof and fold over. You shouldn't see that little gap right there. So all they need to do is just put a little bit more of that silver tape or caulking or plaster or anything just to get that sealed up. Pretty simple fix. And then that's where they where they drilled a TV line through there and just never sealed it. And then there's an open knockout observed in the electrical junction box. So this is out on the back patio. And you can see again, they did the knockout and nothing coming out of it. So the knockout needs to be put back into place. And then the furnace flue pipe is not sealed. So again, they had some work done on the air conditioning system. And where these pipes come together, they're galvanized metal. They overlap by about 1.5 inches or 2 inches, which is totally fine. But then what happens is the HVAC guys put screws through it to hold it into place. Now they've created a penetration, so it just needs to be wrapped with that silver tape or metal tape, just so no carbon monoxide can escape. And then the oven and range does not have the anti-tilt bracket. That's that bracket that goes up against the wall and then on the back foot of the oven so the oven can't tip forward. And that's it for safety. So it's a little bit of a long list, but they're really easy, super minor things that can be fixed real easily. Now we get into priority. We've got a couple of broken tiles up on the roof. And then you've got a couple of slip tiles as well. You just want to get those all put back into place and fixed. We got a couple of the concrete mortar packs that are unsealed or starting to crack. So you can see the little areas right there. You don't want to see those because you don't want any water penetrating into that. See how you've got those little gaps there? Those need to be all sealed up. Then you got a couple of them with little minor cracks right there and right there. Let's see, one of the under eave areas showing prior moisture intrusion. So you can see here where it starts to look, it looks a little rough. That's when it needs to get sanded and repainted. The more often you do it, the longer the wood lasts. And right there, see how the paint's just kind of starting to peel? Just scrape that old paint off and put some new stuff on and seal it back up. The turntable in the microwave makes a lot of noise when you turn it on. So I put that in there when I was testing it. The turntable rattles a lot, so I'm not sure if it's the gears or what it is, but we put it in there and suggest further evaluation or replacement or repair by a qualified party, because I'm not sure how long it's going to last or what's making the noise, but it's definitely making a lot of noise that could be just bothersome when you're using it. And that's it for priority. Now we'll go into the roof section. You got some pooling or ponding up on the roof. That's that dark area. That's where dirt that sits in the water for more than 48 hours. And then when the water dries or evaporates, all that dirt gets left on the roof. You don't want to see any of that up on your roof. You want your roof to be as white as possible. So, that'll get recoated, resurfaced, and everything will be pushed off to the edge to these scuppers. And then you won't have any pooling or ponding. And then it becomes a kind of a routine maintenance thing for you. You'll end up doing it probably every 5 years or so. You'll have a roofer just go up there, take a look, and recoat and do whatever they need to do. We got some previous repairs up on the roof. We can tell because they're different color tiles, because it's almost impossible to get the same color lot. Nothing wrong with it, but it just sticks out, so we put it in there. In your heating, cooling, and ventilation, your filters were pretty dirty, so we just recommend changing those out every 30 days. You have two systems. One is in the garage, one is in a closet in a hallway, and the filters are at the bottom of the furnace or air handlers. And then the insulation on the air conditioning line set is deteriorated. So you can see here that this is like that black pool noodle equipment or stuff. It goes on there, it keeps it protected, and it makes it run more efficiently. And then you end up having to replace this probably every 2 to 3 years because of our monsoons, and then it gets baked in the sun and stuff like that. You can just buy that pool noodle stuff at Home Depot, put it on, and then some people wrap it with that silver metal tape so it lasts a little bit longer, but that's entirely up to you. We had one of the HVAC registers up in the bedroom that was loose or not secured into place, and this is in bedroom 2. You can see they just need to get it reattached. Still works, but it's just hanging off the roof a little bit. The label was all or partially unreadable on the outdoor HVAC unit. You can see it's starting to go, and all of your information like model number, serial number, we were able to get everything. Okay. Yeah, the important stuff is in your serial number. That'll tell us the year and how old it is and stuff like that. So just so you know, it is starting to go. You'll have this report, which will have all that information if you ever needed to give it to an HVAC specialist or anything like that. We had a couple of bulbs that didn't come on when switched. This was in the hallway to the master bedroom. Probably just needs a couple of bulbs. Then there's a couple outside that weren't coming on either, so you can see in the fan and on the rear patio. Again, probably just need some bulbs. Evidence of amateur wiring. So again, this is something that the state requires us to call out, and there's really nothing you have to do because it's almost on every report. But this is for your low voltage wiring, and you can see how it's got a little cord that comes off and goes out and then plugs in. Well, the state wants to see it in some kind of protective conduit like this stuff here. But again, you do with it what you want. You don't have to do anything, but I just have to report on it because that's what the state tells me to. And then these lights along the back area, again, for some reason, it's not in a protective conduit and the state thinks that it should be, and that would make those lights look extremely silly if they were, little pieces of steel in between each bulb. So we have to report on it, but there's nothing you have to do. We got a couple of exterior outlets not properly covered. So these are outside in the weather, so they need to have the waterproof and weatherproof doors that seal on them. Then we got one switch plate that's missing. Some of the caulking was missing from around the diverter valve and the shower valve in the hallway bathroom. So about once a year or so, you're gonna take your finger, just rub some caulking around it, make sure it stays sealed so no water gets behind it and it stays on this side of the wall. And then the bathroom diverter or shower diverter in there is just a little loose. It doesn't leak or anything like that, but it's just a little loose where it goes into the wall. We got some non-uniform paint inside, so this is in the garage. You can see the two different colors Not sure what they did, but never matched the paint correctly. And then all of your smoke alarms should be replaced. Total number is 7. So the median inside the smoke detectors last for about 10 years and then they start to fail. And these are original to the house, so they need to be replaced with newer models. And they are hardwired. Then we have an interior door that's hard to open or close, so it's sticking pretty good. So this is the hallway bathroom interior door. So when you walk into the hallway bathroom, you've got your sinks on your left-hand side, and then to the right is where you have the toilet and the shower and the bathtub. And it's that door that goes into the toilet and shower and bathtub that's sticking. Got some holes on the exterior, just need to have them patched up so no water or anything like that gets in there and causes issues. And we've got those all labeled. The door frame located at the rear, or the garage rear entry door, was damaged. And you can see here where it's just got some weathering from the weather, from sun and rain and stuff like that. So it just needs to be sanded down and repainted. The weep screed, this is at the very bottom of the house. You can see there's a little bit of damage and it's not lining up right there. Then some stucco with some non-uniform paint. That's like where water runs off it and stuff like that. So just looks a little different. You got some plants that are in contact with the house. We just recommend having them trimmed back because when the wind blows, it'll scrape on that stucco and it'll cause issues and scratch it up and stuff like that. Then you got a couple areas where it should be sealed up or the caulking is coming loose. So this is on the rear patio. And then the front entry, you can see you got that big gap right there. You want to get that filled in with something because that's going to be a great place for bees or wasps, or bats or anything like that. Birds. Same thing here. See how you just got that gap right there? We can fill that in with some stucco, some silicone, some caulking, anything just to keep it sealed up. Got some minor cracks in the stucco, which is normal in Arizona. It's, from the contraction and expansion, it just cracks. We've got one window that needs to be repaired in the hall bathroom. You can lift it up, but when you go to pull it down to close it, it is super hard. So it either needs to be adjusted or it needs to be lubed or fixed or something. But it took all of my might just to get that thing to close again. And then we've got a broken window tensioner in the family room. And what that is, we lift the window up and it won't stay. It just immediately falls down. So the tensioner needs to be replaced on that window. And then the exterior lock on the family room rear entry door, the deadbolt, just needs to be adjusted. I have to put all my body weight on the door to push it to get it to shut. So it just needs to be adjusted. Weather stripping at the garage door has a little bit of damage to it. Somebody hit it with a car tire. Then you got some cracks in the concrete on the rear, which is normal. It's Arizona, it's concrete, it's going to crack. It's nothing to really be concerned of. The GFCI outlet for the jetted tub was unable to be located. So you have a jacuzzi tub in the master bathroom, and those are supposed to be protected, GFCI protected, and I could not find it. So that might be something you just ask the seller where it's at. Gas meter too close to the main panel. So this pops up every once in a while up in these neighborhoods. This is something where Alex can probably probably reach out to the selling agent and have them get in touch with Southwest Gas. Southwest Gas come out and take a look because they're in Southwest Gas's standards. The gas meter should be a minimum of 36 inches away from any kind of an ignition source, which could be your main panel, electricity, something like that. And if it is, what they'll do is they'll make an extension and get the regulator a minimum of 36 inches away. And it's happened many, many times before, so it's nothing real concerning. Garage had some shelving and stuff like that, so I can't see what's behind it. I mean, I look inside of them and they're fine, but I can't see what's behind it to see if there's any damage or anything like that. Then we had a couple areas with some settlement cracking. This is usually where two pieces come together and they put a tape line on it, and then that tape line cracks. Nothing big. You just need to have it redone so you don't see the crack. Water heater was 17 years old, so it may be past its design life. It's still putting out like 116-degree water, so it's working great. But at 15 years, we just put a call out in there saying, hey, it's lived a good life. It could live another 15 years or it could go out in 15 days. You never know. So we just put that in there. Then this next one, it's called a cross connection. And this is something that the state requires that we tell you about. So this is an anti-siphon valve. This part here would go on your hose bib, and then your hose would go here. And then these holes would release any pressure that's in the hose when you turn it off at the bib and it squirts out water. After about the third or fourth time of getting squirted by water, you take it off and you throw it over the fence because you're tired of getting wet. But when you read this call out in the report, it's going to say that if you don't have these on your exterior hose bibs, that the water can back up into your drinking system and it can make you sick. Well, that's not totally true. That was based off information from old plumbing back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. Nowadays, it's not going to happen. You really don't need them. You never heard your home inspector say that, but you really don't need them on your exterior hose bibs. If you want to put them on, they're like $5 a piece, but you don't have to. Rubber hoses under constant pressure at the washing machine, we recommend just changing them out to the steel braided lines because it never fails. Rubber hoses will deteriorate and they will rupture, and it always is going to happen. You're out of town that day and you're going to come home and your house is going to be flooded. So if you change them out to the steel braided lines, those won't burst and you won't have any issues. And then your clothes dryer is vertical, so that means it goes up to the roof to vent, and we just recommend a periodic cleaning of that. You do have the option of gas or electric. Let's see, we got some damage to the outside fire table, so you can see where the tiles just kind of chipped off. You do have the enclosed gas fireplace in the family room. That's the picture of it. That's the picture of the pilot light. And then that is the picture of it turned on. So it does function, puts out some decent heat. We were unable to test the water feature at time of inspection. This is the one over by the pool, but we could not find a way to get it to turn on. And then there's evidence of previous plumbing drain leaks in a couple areas. So underneath the kitchen sink, the hallway bathroom left side sink, and then the master bathroom right side sink. Nothing leaking today. But what this means is at one point they did have a leak, and you can see how the wood is just a little warped or bubbly because it's that like particle board. So it's nice and solid still, but at one point they did have a leak. And like I said, nothing leaking today. And that's it. If you have any questions or anything like that, Alex has our cell phone. You just give us a call. You'll have this report today, probably later this afternoon, but you will get the report today. And like I said, any questions, just give us a call.